Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us today. We've got a lot of exciting news to share today. This has been a very eventful November.
We had a Thanksgiving like we've never had before.
Yes, we kind of had like 3 Thanksgivings. Before Thanksgiving Day happened, we were able to have a joint Thanksgiving at Michael's parents' house, which was really fun.
Sitting on the couch and taking in all of the moments, watching all the kids play together and catching up and sharing stories and going around the room just thanking the Lord for all the answered prayers this year, thinking about all the new nieces and nephews being born and Aaron's health recovery and having the boys in our home, and just it was just such a special, meaningful holiday. There was, kids chattering the whole time and laughing and playing, and it was so different for us having our own little people there with us this year.
Yeah, and our little 3-year-old loved getting to play with his cousins. They were just having a blast. He's a social bug anyway, we've mentioned that before. So family gatherings are definitely a highlight for him. And he got to play with lots of little people. So that was really neat to be able to do that over at her parents' house.
My mom tries to either celebrate most of the holidays before or after the main holiday. That way there's freedom to be able to see both families, if at all possible, so that way we have flexibility to travel.
We were really grateful that was able to happen this year because Thanksgiving, the day of Thanksgiving,
Had some other big plans.
And it was kind of sad because we weren't going to be in the same place. That
was a first for us to not be together on Thanksgiving.
And it's something I voted against.
I said, you have to go. It's so special. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And
right. The reason being my sister got engaged over Thanksgiving week. And her fiancé-to-be contacted me and asked if I would consider coming secretly and filming them.
So just a tidbit, pause. The sister that got engaged was Christy, and she went undercover for our engagement and followed me the whole day and took pictures. So just the fact that her now fiance wanted Brandon to be part of that day, and they've been so close growing up, and there were just all these memories back to our engagement day and how special it was to have pictures and those memories. So it's like, you can't miss this. This is like, you have to return the favor.
Christy and I, ever since we were little kids, we were very close. We played together all the time. I asked if she could come take pictures when I was going to propose to Michaela, and she graciously did so. I was kind of floored to find out that I was going to have the opportunity to return the favor. Caleb, who's been dating Christy for some time, he had designated a time he wanted to propose. And so he was secretly planning, how he was going to do it. She wanted to be surprised.
Yes, surprise is the best. I loved that.
So anyway, he was doing his best to surprise her. So he calls me without her knowing and asks if I'll film it. And he's like, I'm thinking of doing it a day or two before Thanksgiving. It's going to be up in Michigan, close to my parents. And so I was thinking, oh, well, that'll be great. We like to go up to Michigan for Thanksgiving anyway. And so if we're going to be there, I'll just come a few days earlier, and can help out. But between all the things that were happening here locally for the boys, it didn't look like it was going to be the best for us as a family to go up to Michigan. So when we were talking and I realized that, I was like, I can't go. I can't do this then. But Michael was like, well,
you have to do this. It's so important. The beautiful thing is there's a little more off time Brandon has at Christmas, and we knew that we would be planning to go to Christmas just a few weeks later, and the boys would get
up to Michigan.
Experience a longer trip in Michigan and snow probably. And I think it would just be a little easier for them when we stay a little bit longer. So knowing that it's just a few weeks away made it kind of an easy yes. And I also knew that I could go and spend the day with my grandma, Mama Jane, at the farm.
That's right. So Michael ended up going to South Carolina for Thanksgiving Day. She took the boys, who had lots of little cousins to play with.
Yes.
So our 3-year-old, enjoyed that again. So we decided to make this sacrifice for somebody very special, my sister, and
And we spent a lot of hours traveling on the phone.
Yes, absolutely. I headed up to Michigan. And there's several text correspondence going back and forth. He mentioned over the phone that he wanted to get engaged in Holland, Michigan, which is a very pretty place, but this is around Thanksgiving. And Michigan in November tends to be very cold. In the 40s is not uncommon, and even in getting into the 30s.
Snow sometimes.
And this is daytime temperatures, it's much colder at night. I was just like, oh man, I wonder if this is going to be a good idea. And so anyway, he thankfully, a little while later, he's like, I do have a backup plan that's going to be indoor in case the weather is not good, in case of inclement weather, he said. So it's like, okay. And I was like, I really hope the indoor one works out. I didn't say that to him. I was like, I really hope the indoor one works out. And sure enough, as the day drew closer, the weather was not getting any warmer. And so he finally texted me where we've decided we're going to do the indoor option. And that was going to be downtown Lansing in the Capitol building.
Which is incredible, and the tour is it's just amazing. The architecture, the beauty, the paintings, it's gorgeous.
It is. It's a beautiful building, especially when you go inside and, just look up, and the rotunda is just really cool. But Christy had worked there in the past, and so her past was kind of intermingled with the place. So anyway, he had chosen the Capitol building for this to all go down, to pop the question, and he wanted me to show up in disguise. That was fun. I was trying to think, what could I do as a disguise? What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, it brings back so many flashbacks of how you planned our engagement, because part of the surprise was knowing that family was there and got to experience in the joy, and I didn't know that beforehand. So it was just kind of fun getting to experience that surprise on this side of it.
I ended up going for something that would cover every recognizable feature I had on my face. I got some sunglasses. I got a nice mask that was left over from COVID. I was going to have my headphones on connected to my camera, and I was going to wear my hat backwards. I usually wear my hat forward, so a backwards hat was not going to look typical for me. Okay, it is almost go time. I'm supposed to be in a disguise so my sister doesn't recognize me. So I'm hoping that between being behind a camera and having sunglasses that this will work. We'll see what happens. Christy's sharp, so I thought she might.
She's observant.
She is observant. So I was like, I still don't know if this is going to work, but I'll give it a shot. It was supposed to be a secret entirely that I was there. Christy was not supposed to know I was in the state. She wasn't supposed to know anything, and so I was keeping that a secret. Well, just before, like a day or two before I was to drive up there, somebody up in Michigan slipped that I was coming. And she's like, what? Brandon's coming? And they quickly gave her an answer that seemed to appease to not arouse suspicions for, the engagement.
Plans are always changing in big families. It's just one of those things, and that's what happens.
And it's just like, oh man, the kitty's out of the bag. She's going to suspect now. It's not going to be a surprise anymore. So the day of the engagement comes, and a couple of my other sisters were supposed to get her downtown to decorate an office. That was the reason they were going to go down there. And, Christy had worked downtown in the past. She's familiar with the area. I think she still knows people down there. Anyway, I had to leave before her. I head to the Capitol building. I get there, and it is so cold. It is so cold. I was just like, I am so glad they decided to do it indoor because it is freezing out here. It actually started snowing.
Which made it so romantic.
It was actually, it did make it kind of pretty. Tim, my brother-in-law, and Becky's husband, he was there to help me. We were going to run a couple cameras for this thing. Okay, Tim, any thoughts before this goes down?
The calm before. No, I'm excited. I just have to remember to push the right button. That's my one job. Actually, I got 2 buttons.
We meet Caleb there, and he kind of steps us through where he's going to do it and how he wants things set up and so forth. So we do our best to get everything set up. Then the time comes. The clock strikes when Christy's supposed to show up. Caleb had this all laid out, timed.
Very organized.
So we were all hidden, and we were just waiting. A few minutes later, Christy shows up. She goes to the right spot. My sisters leave her, and Caleb comes in secretly and totally surprises her. And I mean, she was floored. She was so surprised.
It's the best feeling ever.
So Christy and Melissa Keilen, will you marry me? Yes.
This might be the best Thanksgiving ever.
Yeah, it is.
So it was really neat, and I feel like I got to feel a little bit of what Christy must have felt like way back when we got engaged. She didn't know I was there until Caleb was like, Brandon had a question.
Brandon wanted to know, do you...
I have no idea who this guy is.
It was really fun being able to be in on the secret and, you know, keep the secret that almost was not kept. There was some really close calls, but my sister is now engaged.
They're a match
So
made in heaven.
they really seem like they're a good fit for each other. Congratulations, Christy and Caleb.
So happy.
I'm so happy.
That happened on Wednesday. Thanksgiving Day came, and I was suffering from heartache. Michael wasn't with me. The boys weren't with me, and man, things just feel empty. You know, when your family's not around. But we
He
decided.
took all of our hugs up to Michigan for us, and
Yes.
we told Mama Jane hello from him. So
Yeah.
it was a very meaningful Thanksgiving, even though we weren't together on the day of. It was a year that I think that we'll both treasure forever.
We have a lot to be grateful for. God has done so much this year, and He's continuing to do more. And you know, with Him bringing the boys into our lives this year, that has changed so much. It's brought so much life into our home. This year brought so many changes that I didn't see coming, and wouldn't change for the world. And so anyway, we're very thankful. We're very grateful. God has been so good to us. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving Day reflecting on the blessings that He is faithful to give to each one of us.
I feel like I'm getting emotional for no reason. Just getting to have kids in our home. This is so awesome.
It's changed a lot.
I like it.